Lopez, and I'll be speaking about hegemony. So, hegemony is one group giving power and privilege to another group over said group. The book kind of went over the example I'm going to talk about, but not the same way. I'm going to be discussing the rule of men over women. The book mostly discussed clothing, sexual objectification, which I will be talking about a little bit, but I'm mostly going to be talking about other aspects of patriarchal rule. Many blame the whole patriarchal rule kind of with Christianity, which may or may not be the reason why, because there were several societies before Christianity came about that actually had stronger women rule or actual equality, not like the equality we have today. Actual equality. So Christianity is kind of like what people blame a lot of this on. May or may not be true. I haven't done enough research on it. But the Bible, which is the Christian religious book, is very all about women. Well, not the entire thing, but there are quite a bit of bits in it that talk about women needing to be submissive to men. Like, women would be banished for 7 days, sent to a tent when they're on the period because they were unclean, despite this being a natural process. Back then, women, this was said to be the great book of God. So, of course, women, being in the undereducated time that they were, they kind of went along the book. They gave the power to men, and then there you go. Patriarchy. And Christianity's been ruling for quite a while now. So, yeah. So fast forward to today. Women are often beaten, and it's turned into a joke because she didn't obey her man. Whether that's the case or not, you'll see jokes about this all the time in social media. Be like, oh, that B-word deserved it, and stuff like that. Women are raped, and it's supposedly her fault because she decided to exert more control over her body and drink, even though people tell her not to because it's her fault if she gets raped, and because she may have flirted, and thereby negating whatever one man wanted. So, there you go. Those are some pretty prime examples. Strippers and prostitutes are seen as lesser than people who aren't in those professions because they actually have control over their bodies and their sexuality. They're seen as lesser people. A woman who happened to be a prostitute in Texas was killed, and because she didn't want to have sex with a man, and because she's seen as a lesser person because of patriarchy, the man got off scot-free. So, if that's not hegemony, I don't know what is. Like the book said, women are often demeaned for their clothing choices. Even though a lot of times women don't dress for men, they do it to express themselves, but they're still slut-shamed and seen as lesser if they dress in a way that might tempt or distract a man. And men aren't taught to maybe control their thoughts, control their gaze, like women are often taught to. Men can kind of get away with almost anything. Bodybuilding and female athletes are ridiculed often because they don't fit the man's ideal form of women. All of these things are examples of hegemony, and I'm excited to discuss them in class, and I hope this didn't overlap with the book too much. This is just the one that I care the most about, so hegemony. It's terrible.